So you have always been the best student, be it college or be it the school. So there is a notion in society that law is the last resort, and people do it when they cannot do anything. So what made you pursue law as a career?
I had never thought of becoming a lawyer per se. And to be very honest again, till I completed my 10th, or even when I was pursuing my when I was in my high school in standard 11th or 12th, I had never thought that, like, I was not very serious as to whether I genuinely want to do law or not. See, the reason being is that I had taken up commerce in 11th and 12th, and I always used to be very confused. And right after 10th also, I was confused whether I should take commerce or whether I should take science, because my sister had taken up science, and she's an engineer and she's in Germany right now. So back then she was already in college, and she at least warned me that, look, you always take things very lightly, I was into all sort of co-curricular activities during school. And I was a, like, I would call, I wasn't like the topper of the class, but I think I was an above average student back then in school. So, and I was very fascinated by civics. Okay. And you would, like, anyone who has read civics will understand. History and civics, we used to have this subject. And civics will have the basics of constitution, fundamental rights, fundamental duties. So from the beginning itself, it fascinated me. And obviously, as a kid, you are always fascinated by movies, what they depict in movies about lawyers and their journey and how they speak in courtroom, all that courtroom drama and that jazz. But obviously, as a student also, it always fascinated me. And I always used to wonder that how does this country operate? And is the constitution so important that everyone is bound by it? Like, it is something, and whenever I used to read newspapers, I used to come across matters which are being heard by the constitutional bench. And Article 19 and 21 is something, when we were in school, back then also, this was something which was constantly evolving. Like, you'll appreciate the fact that Article 21 is something, or Article 19 is something, it has so much jurisprudence around it. So this was something which always used to come at newspapers. So this is something which sort of instilled this interest in me. And obviously, since I used to take a keen interest in debating, etc. in school, I could at least understand, like, or obviously 9th and 10th I was totally clueless, but once I was in standard 11th and 12th, then and I had already taken up accounts. So back then, when I started, like, when I just joined 11th, my idea was to get good grades and get admission in Delhi University, and then see things how and then take up a decision what I want to do, or take up CA or CS. That was my initial plan. Otherwise, I had no plan, and this plan was not something as if when I started 11th, I started preparing so much that I knew that obviously I have to somehow get 95-96%, because back then also the Delhi University cutoffs were the same. Then I realized that, look, this is something which is not just limited to reading law as something. Like, law is not something which you have to just memorize and pass. As a law student, what I heard from people is that even securing internship is something which is so difficult, and there are firms which are offering internship to people in reputed law school, and they are seeking their advice in terms of help. They are taking 20 interns,
yes, sir,
and paying them also. And at the same time, I understood, like, let's say this was very late in my 12th year, right before my boards, I understood that there's this thing about mooting, debating, which you can do even in law school, and that is something which is really appreciated in law school. Very, very late in my standard 12th, I understood. So this is something which I could understand from my limited experience and my interaction with students of at least people I know, that this is something which will interest me. This is not a course wherein I will get stuck with only studying something and not utilizing it, right?
So you gained some experience and hands-on.
So based on my discussions, I understood, and this discussion was really late. I wish I should have not. I don't wish. Whatever happened just happened, and I don't regret anything. But ideally, this discussion should happen right after you complete your 10th. And in my case, it happened even after I I had done with my boards, and then like in sort of I didn't prepare for any entrance per se. These people even take a break, start preparing for 11th, 12th, and even then they take a break. And then I landed up in Amity Law School, Delhi. Because there are two Amities, Amity Law School, Delhi, and Amity Law School, Noida. So I joined Amity Law School, Delhi.
Okay. The dream of every student is to get a top law college or NLU. So what's your take on it, and how did you decide to go like take admission into Amity and not like any law school?
See, to be very honest, I gave CLAT at a very short notice. I didn't I was getting the lower ranked NLUs. I remember I was getting CNLU and some other NLUs, and back then CNLU was fairly new. Only its first batch has graduated. Even though now, if you see the rankings of CNLU is doing extremely well. A lot of good companies, firms are going to Chanakya National Law University for recruitment. But back then, things were not the same. So, considering all that, and then I was getting NLU Odisha also. But at the same time, I understood that Delhi, Bombay, and metro cities are hub for all lawyers, and you get to meet and interact. You at least have some chance of making a mark for yourself. So based on this, I appeared for IP exams, even though 85% of the seats were reserved for Delhites. Somehow I managed to get one seat in those 16, 17 seats. And I started my journey in Amity Law School, Delhi. So Delhi or Bombay, these cities are places wherein you can do internships while you are attending classes, if your curriculum so allows, and if you are able to manage that. Nice. So this is another like, not that I had thought about it back then, but this is something which is an added advantage.
So sir, how like after entering law school, after going to Amity, how the life changes, like takes a change and drastically changes?
Drastic change. Yeah. So I'll be very candid about it. So I landed up in Delhi in 2011. Correct. 2011, because I graduated in 2016. So I was someone who had always been at home. Obviously, it's the same for many students who are pursuing law from any law college, national law schools or other private law schools. So I had always been in my hometown, and I'm not from Delhi. And I don't know anyone in Delhi. As in, back then I didn't know anyone in Delhi apart from some distant relatives. So I was totally clueless as to how to even interact with people, because for me it was not just a new environment, it was sort of a cultural shock, I would say. This is a very strong word, but nothing less than that. Because the way people interact, the confidence which people have in metro cities, and for me, I was coming from a comparatively smaller town, not that Patna is very small, but even then, if you're coming from a smaller town, even adjusting to that new environment takes some time. Even the way you speak. So these, see, on a very separate note, these are very minor, soft issues. But for someone who's 18-year-old, even that is something very, like, I have seen people getting hassled, even though they are very smart, but just because they are not able to adapt, they're not able to make friends. So for someone who's working or who's a working professional, these issues might be, he might say that this is everyone faces, come on, this is a very soft issue. But for an 18-year-old, see, you might be having some other issue, but don't compare your issues to my issues. I'm an 18-year-old. For me, that is a big issue. So, but for some reason, maybe because I got the right kind of people around me and I got the right kind of environment, I was sort of able to adjust. But again, coming from a simple city and then landing up in hostel, again, total new environment for me. I was someone who was always pampered. I was so spoiled that I would never do any any household work. I never even help anyone. It's not something which I'm proud of, but this is how I was. Like totally spoiled in the sense that very pampered, like overprotected, I would say. So for me, it was very, very important. Now I realize that moving away from your family can have a positive impact on you also, in the sense that you learn to become independent. Because at some point of the time, some point or the other, you'll have to carve a place for yourself in the society, in your circle. Okay, howsoever innocent, sweet you might be, but you'll have to be strong and make a place for yourself. So obviously, hostel was a new environment altogether, and you'll be surprised that I was the only guy from Amity IP living in the hostel. The reason being is that Amity Law School Delhi IP never had any hostel.
Okay.
Okay. So, and they usually don't let, and Amity IP and Amity Noida are in the same 125 sector Noida campus.
Okay.
Even though these are totally two independent entities. And back then, Amity Law School Delhi used to be affiliated with Indraprasth University. Okay, that's what written on my degree. So, even though these are two different entities, they were in the same campus. And usually they never let guys have any place in the hostel of Amity. But somehow I managed to get a place in the Amity Noida hostel. So I was not living amongst my batchmates. I was living with private Amity Law School, Amity BTech, Amity basically people across 100 courses who had enrolled and who were living in that university, who are living with me, and our curriculum never matched. They were when I didn't, like, when I am not having exams, they had exams. When they were chilling or they are leaving for home, I had my exams. So these were some softer issues, but at the end of the day, if you are able to get the right kind of environment, it is very important to do anything with a very positive frame of mind. You will, whenever, especially if you are from a small town or if you are new to that environment, you will find so many people who will try to bully you. I have seen people trying to act smart, act cool, but I used to wonder that, how can, what pleasure will anyone get out of it? But obviously, if you act tough and if you are bold enough, no one, people will understand that. Look,
Yeah.
It's not cool, and it's okay to, it's good to not enter into any confrontation. Don't just pick up a fight just because someone said anything. Because at the end of the day, you will realize that 5 years down the lane, all this is irrelevant.
Like any memory that you cherish or any interesting moment that you cherish from your college or hostel life that you want to share?
From my college, something which I would want to share, which I still remember, is the first intra-moot. And the intra time when we just started our college, within 1 month, within 2-3 days, obviously when you start a college, within 3-4 days, when you're especially in a law school, there will be tons of societies. You will be expected to be part of some society, because there is a false sense of pride in being part of a society. I've seen, especially through this medium, I want to tell students, just because you're not part of moot court society, please don't think that you're useless. Because there are some people who are and it's very, very idiotic. Very, very idiotic, I would say. I'll use very strong words, but it is very idiotic to judge someone based on the number of moots he has done, won, or judged. Done, won, or judged. All three things. I have done moots.
Yeah.
Very decent moots. I've done Stetson, Jessup. But judging someone based on moots or just because someone is not doing moots, it's very idiotic. And I have seen, obviously, it's you cannot, obviously I give them the leeway, because there are, at the end of the day, students are students. When we are in law school, we don't understand what would matter 5 years down the lane. People don't understand that it is the skill that matters, right?
Yeah.
It is the skill that matters. It's not participating or winning a moot. You might have won a moot, but if in the interview, if it was pertaining to criminal law, or if that moot was pertaining to international law, or if you're sitting in a corporate law firm interview, and if it pertains to a corporate law issue, if that partner asks you some question pertaining to your simple aspect, pertaining to your moot problem, or simple question, if you're not able to answer that, all your moot certificate will go down the drain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
sometimes people forget all this, but it's fine. So what happened is that when I started My law school journey, same thing happened. There was a huge rat race in, like, people wanted to be part of one society or the other. So similarly, we were told that in 20 or 30 days we'll be having a intramoot. Intramoot basically only specifically for first year students, and we'll be given ranks. And the top students will get a chance to even participate in moots and represent college in the first year itself.
Okay.
So, and back then I didn't even have a laptop. When I came to Delhi, I didn't even have a laptop, and it's impossible to prepare a memorial without a laptop. And I've always been very shy. Back then, though, I used to think 10 times before asking for help from anyone, because there are usually you should not be shy, and you should never hesitate in asking for help.
Yes, sir.
If you need help, please ask someone, some senior. I'm sure that there are tons of people who will be ready to help. But I used to be very shy and introvert and keep to myself. So obviously it will add to your woes. You'll find it more difficult to deal with this situation. So somehow I figured out what the mood problem was, and but again, how to draft, what to do. So I remember borrowing laptop from my roommates, and obviously they were MBA people who had to on a daily basis work on assignments, etc. They couldn't just give away their laptop and let me work on it. So what I used to do, I bought a pen drive.
Okay.
Because I understood that, and even then I thought that it is not worth buying a 50,000 laptop. Even though I was very, it was a very silly thought, and I thought that I can even sail through this law school journey without a laptop. Obviously, I felt that right now I don't even need a laptop. So what I did, I bought a pen drive, and as and when I used to get laptop from any senior, and by senior I mean my hostel mates, and majority of them living on were all MBA people who were minimum 3 years or 4 years elder to me. And I used to take their laptop and insert my pen drive, work on it, save it, and then that's how I prepared my memorial without any help. And there are only few instances which I genuinely remember where I genuinely put in my hard work. Okay, this was one of such instances, because I'm sure everyone remembers those specific instances wherein you gave your 110%. You gave whatever, you at least you did whatever you could have done.
You could have.
Though I should have at least interacted with seniors or faculty members. That I didn't do because I was very shy. But I gave my 100%.
It's the dream of every student to get placed in a top tier law firm. So how did you pursue? How was your journey, and how did you pursue, and what advice do you give to students for the placements and pursuing law as a career in top firms?
See, I advise everyone, whoever intends to work in a law firm, that please have your internships very structured. Once you start studying in a law school, you'll have to understand that initially in the first or second year, you won't get to intern with top tier law firms. So, and don't even try to apply at such places, because even if you have some connection there, you know someone who is working there, or your father knows someone who is working there. That's how a lot of people get internship.
Yes.
It's okay. Nothing to you cannot blame them also. So even if you know someone, don't intern in your first and second year in top tier law firms. The reason being is that if you're working in a law firm, don't expect people to not give you work just because you're in your first or second year. Okay, someone may ask you which year are you in, but the level of expectation may remain the same, or they may not be able to understand that, look, you haven't even read Companies Act. Yes. And if you are given a research, and if your research is not up to the point, obviously you will be judged, and there could be a situation that you may not end up getting any work at a later point of time during that internship. And please don't expect people who are working there to mentor you always. Okay, obviously everyone, I have never seen someone who's being very unfair to an intern, but at the same time, at times what happens is that people are so much occupied with work is that they may not be able to give extra time to an intern.
Yes.
So let's say you are not able to perform up to the mark. You're a second year student, first year student. So don't expect that you will be given chances time and again. Okay, because there could be some other intern who might
working good.
Yeah, correct. Who might have a better understanding of that particular law, and he may or she may get the work. and you may never get that work again. So
Yes, sir.
it's always good to equip yourself, to enhance your skills, and then intern in a good law firm. And always, especially if you are from a smaller, if you're not from those 5-6 law schools, or even if you're from those law schools, the best way to learn or understand law would be to intern. And especially if you want to have a job, the only way through which you can get an offer would be by impressing your associates. So this is my advice. And talking about me, my experience in the initial years, I used to be very callous in my approach. Okay, I used to be very careless in my approach, and I never used to intern, and I used to think that only getting good grades should be sufficient. But I soon realized that that is not how things work. And then in my fourth and especially my final year, I interned a lot. I interned as much as I could, and somehow my college also permitted internship during the last semester. 3 months were totally reserved for internship, and I kept on interning, got a few callbacks, and then I got an offer from Link Legal. That was a campus placement, and then I had interned with Shahidul Amarchand Mangal Das, and I was in touch with my team. There was a vacancy, and then I was interviewed, and that's how I started working.
That's great, sir. That's great. So, sir, like we have heard about the law firm culture and the work associates do. It's very hectic. And so, how is your experience working in a top-tier firm?
Obviously, if you are working in any law firm, and that applies equally to any law firm, not just a small firm, not just a tier 1 law firm. You are new to the organization, you are doing the work for the first time. So some work which is taking someone with a 5 years experience 1 hour, obviously you take 3 hours. So that is why the hectic hours could be there in the initial in years, and not just the initial years. Sometimes it can even after working 10 years, there could be a situation wherein you are spending 12 hours in office. So that is something unavoidable. And that is applicable not just for law firms. Don't think that if you're working with a senior advocate, or if you're working with any, if you're doing independent practice, there would be less work. If you're doing, basically, the better you're doing, the more work you will have, and the busier you will be. As simple as that. Yes, because if you don't do well, and if there's shortage of work, then there will be a downward spiral. And not that they do exceptionally well anywhere they go.
Yeah.
But they did leave.
So, sir, ending this interview, so COVID has entirely really changed the working of legal field. So, how do you think what after COVID the legal field, what changes there will be in the legal field? Also, any skills that you developed or anything that you developed during lockdown which you want to share with us?
See, when it comes to students, because student skills of students will be more important right now as opposed to my skills during COVID. So I would start with that. Especially students who are in their 4th or 5th year, they should intern as much as they can. Even if it's virtual internship, please I do understand that obviously a physical internship is much better than a virtual internship. But even if you are getting 3 hour work in a day or 1 hour worth of work in a day, you will learn something. So don't miss out on that. Keep writing, keep researching. Even if you the best way to learn law is that just at least if you are into corporate law, just open SEBI's website every day. Check what are the notification circulars. I'm sure you won't understand 50%, 60% of them. Whatever you can understand, read about that. Even if you read 2 regulations daily, you will understand that in a year, you'll be way ahead of 90% of the people who are in the market right now. And you'll have a total edge over them, at least during your interview, and if not interview, when you start working. So this is what you should do. And coming to my skill set, what at least I in this lockdown, I try to interact as much as I can with law students, and by even if it's by way of webinar, by way of calls, by way of I got associated with a website which helps students seeking internships and guidance, wherein students are allotted mentors. They call mentors on the weekends. So I try to, in my free time, I try to be a part of all that, and I try to write articles, read upon legal developments. So that is what at most you can do. Because again, this is something which is very, very important, that colleges are shut and students are free. They could be interning virtually or not, but law firms are not shut.
Not free. Yeah.
So there could be some lean period for, let's say, 3 days, 4 days, but ultimately you'll have work, and that takes much of your time, and that obviously client is a god to us. So we work on very strict deadlines, so we have to adhere to it. Everything else can wait. So we try to abide by it, and that's how every law firm has grown. Yes. And especially a firm which has been in existence for such a long time period with a century-old history. Obviously, this is because of the dedication and commitment of people who have been working with the firm, and a relationship which they have built with their clients, and it takes time. It's not as if one deliverable you have done well, and you'll one mistake you do, all your reputation will go down the drain. But you have to keep impressing your client, keep adhering to his guidelines, and only then you can retain and do well in this profession. That's what I've understood based on my limited experience, and I consider myself to be very new to the profession. I think I'm a 2016 batch graduate, very, very new to profession. Someone who has been in profession for 4.5 years, he has to learn a lot. And for that matter, I think every lawyer is a student. And someone who's I'll just give you a very simple example. Someone who's working for 10-12 years in a law firm might be a partner in a law firm, right?
Yes, sir.
If you see the law firm hierarchy, there are associates, freshers, then junior associates, SA. For example, I'm an SA, senior associate. Then there are principal associates. Then there are partners. Then there are equity partners. Senior partners, equity partners. Okay. So there could be a partner who's someone, and for a law student, a partner would be someone who's very senior, 10 years of experience.
10 years.
And he's the person who can do anything. That's what the notion is among law students. He can get you a job. He can do anything. He's a senior most person.
Yeah.
But if you think in a very practical way, a partner would be someone having 10 years experience.
Yes,
now compare it with court experience. Someone who has spent 10 years in court is called a young lawyer who has just started practicing.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So my point of view is, no offense to anyone, but my point of view is, just because you have worked for 10-12 years into the profession, you cannot feel that you have done a lot. This is not and there could be people at your level who would have done 10 times more than you.
Yeah.
So just because you're being revered by, or you're being respected by some students or some particular part of the legal fraternity, should never give you that leeway, or that's what my understanding is. Just because I've worked for 5 years or 4 years, I cannot claim that I've done something which others haven't done.
Yes.
There are so many people like me who are working with law firms and who are working at the same designation.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to keep learning.
Yeah.
And be humble. That's because had I been in court, just imagine, I wouldn't have got any designation also. I would have been running from pillar to post.
Yes.